certainly the council wanted to, pursue these, I can contact, someone from Evesham, find out exactly how they're doing it, but yes, administratively, some of these could be, I believe there was some tax, wasn't there something with the taxes too?
What was it? It was the.
No, but you can throw those in.
But, like, we would have to constantly get an updated list from you, and then what happens if somebody drops off, or, what do you guys do if they?
Well, you're contacting me, myself, and Barry was the administrator of fire district two, who's sitting in the back there. So we would keep keep you up to date with current members. If somebody fell off, we would contact you right away. So we would keep that list as current as possible.
Is there a certain amount of calls they have to make first before they would qualify for that? Or?
We have we would define what an active volunteer firefighter would be, and in our district, an active firefighter is someone who responds to 10% of calls during the year and 20% of drills, and that percentage is kept track of throughout the entire year. So it really the framework is already in place for how we track who's active and who would not be in active standing.
I think the best thing we would do for you is at the end of the month, we would give you a fresh list. Because we track it monthly for the members.
And then there'd be various departments you would have recreation, because we're decentralized, so we'd have to work with Teresa on that, we'd have to work with the construction department. So I'm saying it's not working with one person,
Right.
we'll be working with multiple departments, and then making sure that their lists are kept up to date. Another possibility, council also has the right to make a contribution in the budget, and maybe they could help make the other things. So they could either consider this, and I could try to get a costing of this and speak to Evesham, or there's a possibility where the township can just put a budget line in for this, they can make a contribution, and you could run that through your, how you're doing it right now, you do a pay-per-call right now, so you'd be able to increase that something accordingly. I don't know, these are just other ideas that could happen. I just see an issue with having to deal with various departments just on the list of crew ready, and then each time they contact one people, and I guess you probably have an idea, I guess, that they have, that they'd be able to provide.
In my opinion, I think maybe on paper it might seem a little more cumbersome than it might be actually in practice, just because I don't see, hopefully our members will take advantage of this, but just looking at immediately who might actually use some of these incentives, for instance, like the recreation department. The administrative end of it would probably be heavier on our district side and on District 2's and keeping the list current. But my thought would be if someone comes into the township recreation office and wants to sign up for a program, and if they're not listed on Teresa's list, maybe that can be accomplished in a phone call or two, just to get them approved on that.
Well, and then we'd have to come up with something that has no charge right now. Right now, we currently don't have that. So I'm sure the software could do that. I just get concerned when you open up those, whenever you put a no charge thing on the register, it's just easy for that to come into abuse, not just for firemen, but somebody has a friend or whatever. Right now, they can't do that. They have to charge for a program if someone's there.
So, would Mr. Michelle's idea of, instead of doing all of this, simplifying it, providing a line item that basically puts the administrative aspect of this back in the district's laps, where you guys could have greater funds in order to do paper calls and incentivize the volunteers in that way? Do you think that works? Worse, better, same?
I think, quite honestly, I think all of us up here would, love this idea. I think we need to get incentives out there. Why don't you and these guys sit down, come up with a plan?
You know what, Phil, I really feel passionate about this. Brad and I sat down a few months ago and started talking about that, and we've been talking about it, and I really want to find something that works and that everybody's happy with. So I'd really like to take the lead just from the council to kind of help negotiate how we can make this work.
That'd be great.
Possible. So whenever we have a meeting, I'd like to be included.
I kind of feel like, Brad, you've been talking about, like, it seems like it's gonna be more of a, burdensome on paper than it really is. As I'm just looking at this, it seems like it's mostly gonna be recreation. It's gonna,
I would think it's definitely
Yeah,
recreation.
recreation for the kids. And I think this is something that, we always rely on volunteers in this town, and that's what makes this town so incredible. And if we can help you keep and attract new members, I think that's just a no-brainer for us up here.
Mm-hmm.
I know, that's something that, you know, we had that fire at 6 o'clock this morning. It disrupted a lot of people's lives, and you guys took care of that and made sure that it didn't spread to adjoining houses and take out, you know, no loss of life, there was no, you know, nobody was injured. It's an amazing job that you do, and for us to just do this little thing as a gesture to say thank you, I think is something that we should do. And I really, I know I don't wanna make your life harder, but, you know, there's only 2 things here that I think would be kind of a little bit more paperwork on our end, but the rest of it I think is, you know, not every person is putting an addition on their house, not every person is going in, you know, so those are the things I don't think would be too burdensome. I think Teresa's gonna be the one who's gonna be dealing with a lot of the kids, but you know what? To say thank you for all your hard work, I have no problem with that.
Not just to say thank you, but to encourage more people. Because, you know, I think there are
Yes.
plenty of people who would more strongly consider doing this if they knew, you know, my kids can get a discount or go do, I think, did you say discount or no fees for recreational activities or other things? And recruitment is so important because like you said, I mean, these people are all volunteers and and as you pointed out, that's good for our taxpayers. And I also think it's a point of pride for our township. So anything that we can do to help you recruit more members, I think we should do.
Absolutely.
And we'll try and find a way to do it as the least painful way for
Well, we
Tom.
certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Tom and I have worked on a couple other projects together, and I'm sure we can
He's good.
figure this out.
Good.
So,
No comment, but I do like the 50% off tax. Consider that on the
Chris, if you could just send Karen me an email tomorrow, just giving a list of who from both districts should be invited
Yes.
to a meeting, and then Victoria and Tom and myself will arrange that for the next week or so.
We'll do it.
I have 2 questions. Number 1, are we doing this administratively for other groups like vets or anything like that? So if we're doing it for one, maybe it's just easy to add, you know, another group.
We're not currently doing
We
it.
don't do anything like this for vets in town
Well,
or
that's
property.
through the state for taxes,
Okay.
that's get $250, total disabled that gets their taxes for free.
Okay.
Um,
I was just wondering if it was set up. And the other thing for you guys, how many volunteers do you currently have, and what's your ideal number? What do you have, or what would be?
Right now, Fire District 1 has 54 volunteers that are on the books.
Here comes the number that
We'll say active volunteers, I would say we have about 20 to 25.
Okay.
And Liz Booth
Hi,
from
I'm
Fire
Liz
District
Booth.
2 can answer
We
that.
have approximately 30 active, and our ideal number will be about 35.
Our ideal number would be about 1,300. But, you know, but I would say about 10 to 15 years ago, we had 70 to 74 volunteers for Fire District 1. So,
What we each have.
What about the EMS?
that does not include EMS.
I mean, what are those numbers? You know, those are-
EMS,
Those are fairly minimal. The EMS, they have paid staff. They are supplemented by some volunteers, which is why we included them in this request, because they do have some volunteers, which helps keep their paid staff lower and helps supplement that, so, but it's a much smaller number.
and ideally, we would like to have a full crew on each truck when it goes out for we'll say a working house fire or a structure fire like we had this morning. And right off the bat, you need, 40 to 45 to make a sufficient fight on a fire.
How many trucks are going out without your ideal number on it?
Our 3rd and 4th out pieces are strict. I mean, our first out pieces are fully stocked. We also have our command vehicles that have our chiefs or deputy chiefs, that will usually arrive on scene first, if not the police, to give the initial, size up and report on the fire. And of course, we do well with mutual aid. We have a great agreement with all of our surrounding towns. We sign a mutual aid agreement, and that's something we do in the county. But, we gotta really take care of our own town first. And, as much as they help us, we also help them. So you'll see our trucks out in other towns as well, so.
So we can use recruiting tools. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, and you're gonna see a little bit more in the papers, a little bit more on the side of the buildings and across Main Street, and a little bit more social media presence, which I'm not very good at. Brad's gonna certainly help us on our end, and Liz. but we're gonna get a little bit more of our face out there to try to attract more members.
Yeah, great.
Well, I appreciate it, Council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Scott, could you, start our water update?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick update on New York. Tony and I met with Russ Trice earlier today. We do have our contract, a resolution to award a contract to Calgon for the interim treatment later on tonight. Calgon apparently has the units ready to go, new units that could be delivered within 4 weeks. There's still the process and directed Russ to make sure he gets moving with this as quickly as possible. There's still a secondary contractor that the town has to hire to set the concrete pad down where these temporary units will go, and then connect those units to the water system. So we should get feedback from him hopefully by the end of the week on where we are with that. And at the next council meeting, I anticipate council having another resolution to award a contract to whoever that contractor may be. I also want to talk briefly to both council and the public about the notification that went out last week. Apologize both to the public and council for the clumsiness of it, the unnecessary concern that I believe this notification caused, and to provide some context on how we got to the notification last week. As I believe council knows, perhaps most of the public know, February 11th last year, as part of routine monitoring for total coliform, the township did have one location where there was a positive total coliform result. Per the regulation, within 24 hours, another testing was done. That too was positive. The second positive result immediately triggers a MCL violation, maximum contaminant level violation. A third test was done a few days after that, which came up negative. All of the locations last February and all locations since last February have come up negative. And this is for total coliform. There are also tests for E. coli. E. coli tests were all negative. Unfortunately, Bill Butler, our water superintendent, did not properly notify the public per the federal regulation last February. It was a mistake that he made, but I do believe it was an honest mistake. He posted a notification on the township's website with the plan to put the information in the 2016 CCR, which has the 2015 data. He contacted the DEP immediately, completed a public notification certification to tell them what he did to notify the public. That certification form did say that he was posting on the website, and specifically did not say that he was sending out a mailing. He did receive some communication back from the DEP, asking that he complete a level 1 assessment, which he did. The level 1 assessment determined that the positive test results were due to a dirty, faulty tap. These locations that we collect the total coliform test results from are private homes, private businesses. There is the strong possibility when you have a positive test result that it could be problem with the tap, problem with the hands of the test taker, problem with the equipment. Considering the fact that no other location showed total coliform, and this location did not show it within a week, the conclusion from the level 1 assessment was that it was a problem with the dirty tap and not a problem with the water system. Fast forward to February 1st of this year, and Bill was contacted by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection